warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, my students. How are you today? Okay, I hope all of you are in a good condition. Okay, who's absent for today? Okay, nobody absent. Okay, good. Okay, my students, we will start our class today by reciting basmalah together. Okay, well, my students, today we will have a writing subject, and last week we have already studied about recount text, and this time we will learn about another kind of English text, and it is about spoof text. Does anyone knows what is spoof text? Maybe one of you have already studied about this material last night. Okay, because nobody knows what is spoof text, so I will explain it for you, but please listen carefully because at the end of the class I will give you assignment to make spoof text. Okay, let's take a look to the slide. For the first point, we will have the definition of spoof text itself. Spoof text is a kind of text that has a funny twist or surprise at the end of the text. The surprise is an unexpected event that makes the story become funny. In English, spoof text, also known as humor, jokes, anecdote, parodies, or funny stories. So you can call spoof text as like I have mentioned just now. Okay, next. Spoof text has its own purpose, and the purpose of spoof text itself is to entertain the other people or the reader with a funny story. And spoof text itself usually a real story that happened in the past with an unexpected event and funny stories. So spoof text is a text that already happened in the past. Okay, next. Next, we will have the kinds of spoof text, and spoof text itself has three kinds. For the first is humorous twist, the second ironic twist, the third is misconception twist. Humorous twist is a kind of spoof text that contain a funny stories in the ending of the text. So in the end of the story there will be a funny story. And then for the second types there will be ironic twist. Ironic twist is a kind of spoof text that usually shows the dark side of unexpected event or the main character. And then for the last type, there will be misconception twist. Misconception twist is a kind of spoof text that contain a wrong information which is built from the beginning until the end of the story, and those are forming an erroneous understanding or perception throughout the story. So start from the beginning of the story until the end of the story, it's all contain a wrong information. And then for the next, we will have the generic structure of spoof text. In spoof text, there are three paragraphs. For the first paragraph is orientation, the second paragraph is event, and the last is the twist. For the first paragraph, in the first paragraph of spoof text, there will be orientation. Orientation contains all of information regarding the author's story, and orientation also tells who was involved, what happened, where the event took place, and when the event happened. And for the second part of spoof text, there will be the event. Event contain or tells what happened in what sequence. And then for the last part in spoof text, there will be the twist. Twist is contain the funny things or the funny story of the text. Okay, from here, any questions so far, my students? Okay, because no one wants to ask, so let's continue to the next point. For the next point, we will have the language features of spoof text. In making spoof text, we forbid to make is like what we want to, because spoof text itself has its own rule in making the text. For the first rule, in making spoof text, we have to focus on the person, on the animal, or on the certain things. For example, like early morning, a mother, it's the person, a mother went to wake up her son. So we have to focus on the person. And then for the second rule, we have to use action verb. For example, like wake up, take a bath, and etc. And then for the third rule, we have to use adverb of time in the past. For example, like yesterday, just now, 2 days ago, 2 years ago, and etc. Because as I have explained you just now that spoof text is a story that has already happened in the past. So we have to use adverb of time in the past. Okay, you got the point, my students? Okay, next. For the next rule, we should use simple past. And then for the last rule, we have to use chronological connector, such as like after that, then, next, and etc. Okay, do you got the point, my students? Or is there any questions so far? Okay, good. Let's continue to the next slide. Okay, let's continue to the next slide. It is the last slide, and in the last slide, I have give you the example of spoof text. And what do you think? Why this text is called a spoof text? Anybody knows? Okay, because nobody knows, so I will explain it for you. Why this text is called as spoof text? Because in the first sentence, it's clear there is a clue that state it is a spoof text. Okay, I will read for the first sentence. One day, Abu Ali went to the fair and bought 9 donkeys. In the first sentence, there is a clue when and both. when is the verb to from go, and both is the verb to from die. From this clue, we can conclude that this text is spoof text, because as I have explained you just now, spoof text is a story or a text that has already happened in the past. So we have to use adverb of time in the past. Do you get the point, my students? Okay, that's good. And why this paragraph I call it as orientation? Is there anybody knows what is the reason? Okay, for the first paragraph I call it as orientation because in the first paragraph it contains who was involved, what happened, where the event took place, and when it happened. Okay, next, for the next paragraph I call it as the event because in this part, in the second paragraph, it contains the chronological event. And then for the last paragraph I call it as the twist because in this part, in the last part, it contains the funny story of the text. Okay, do you got the point, my students? Is there any question so far? Okay, good, because nobody wants to ask. So in the last slide I give you assignment. Please make a spoof text that already happened in your life and please submit it tomorrow morning in my office. Okay, I think just it. I do apologize if I have any mistake. The last I say, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.